Thank you all for coming. First of all, for those of you who have not heard of me, my name is Hal Shurtleff. Guys, come on up, verify. Let's see, what does it say here?
Mr. Hal Shurtleff.
Thank you very much. My point is made. Well, our job today, by the way, those who know me, I'm still Hal Shurtleff, right? I want to talk about something that really takes me about 7 or 8 years, that I kept it inside. There's just no opportunity to speak about this. And our job here is indeed try to look for the evil twins of Willie Soon, that those things that they talk about in the media that I actually don't even know who that is, right? That's why I had to pretend to be Hal Shurtleff today. But the origin of this talk was basically, I was called by the Hillsdale College in DC to do this talk. And since Hal asked me to sort of, it won't be the same talk. Believe me, there is no same talk from Willie Soon. It's always varieties. So I hope to only outperform myself. But anyway, I got this opportunity, so I actually prepared talk for the first time in my whole life, which I never prepare any talk. I just go up there and talk like the pastor. But anyway, so I will talk about this thing in two parts. The first part is mostly a bit about politics and also things like, how many of you heard about 97% consensus that all the scientists agree that climate change is caused by carbon dioxide? This gas that you breathe out. How many of you have heard of that? Yes. Quite a few, right? But we will debunk that story. The word is debunked because it's completely fake, right? And then the second part will be a bit about science. After all, we are here to learn something. I hope my experience in this 32 years of doing this research, day in, day out, only do nothing but to find the truth and nothing but the truth. And look at how the way they can actually paint you. You watch. I mean, it's a lot of dirty stuff, right? But the first thing I want to start is what science is not about. You remember the Supreme Court Justice that's being asked, what is a woman? I can't answer that. I'm not a scientist. I mean, this is actually governor of California who said that if only men could get pregnant, right? And then you got this fake science guy. He called himself Bill the science guy, but he's a fake science guy, Bill Nye, right? Anybody heard of Bill Nye? I mean, this guy can't even understand history properly, right? So we don't repeat that kind of stuff about what they call it, the Juneteenth Day, right? But the corruption is so deep now. You know, so deep now that they make it a holiday. Everybody get paid by not working. It's a corruption. I refuse to take a day off from that kind of nonsense, right? You gotta resist this thing all the way now, because or else it's gonna really, it's too convenient. It's all about convenience. No. Life is about something very special, right? It's about God. Science is part of this legacy of God that we have to really fulfill that mission, right? Here we're going to start this. Have you seen this guy? Right? This is how they paint me, right? And then, do you guys actually know that people are trying to eat me? I mean, they propose that the solution to climate change is not cutting down carbon dioxide, but actually to kill people. Cannibalism, eat human, right? I mean, this is what it is. This is a really activist UK group. So at least I'm on some of this hall of shame or something. It's terrible. Actually, it's just to give you an example how silly this thing is. What are they talking about precisely? Are they going to win people's heart by saying things like this? They don't even understand the art of persuasion, put it this way. But science is not about persuasion. Remember, it's not about persuasion. There's a lot of sweet-talking people who can talk. I cannot talk that much, but I can tell you, I'll give you nothing but the truth and explain what is behind the story. This is why every pages that I open, of course, I'm not going to say like Anthony Fauci, if you criticize me, you're criticizing science, right? The guy don't even know what science is actually. Anyway, we're going to start with this thing that Alex Newman told us not to do. Google. You Google Willie Soon. You will find that the first hit is actually on the Wikipedia. Right? And we're going to do this today. We're going to go through some of these points, about 7 of them. Right? We're going to go through like half of it today. And then on Thursday, please come, of course, after you are excited about this talk, right? Please spread the word. The whole camp, everybody should come, right? Including the bear that we found with Sebastian, the name tag on it. Anyway, the first point is about Willie Soon being so corrupted that he has received this $1.2 million from fossil fuel industry. Actually, it's serious. This is the front page of New York Times, February 22nd, 2015. There was no major news in the world, except for one tiny little bit about the bad treatment of the prisoner in the RICO island. At that time, I was practicing my Elvis jailhouse rock, right? So it was coincidence that they actually put me on the front page of New York Times. I mean, this is clearly, you please understand that I have done enough that really make them really upset. They have to attack me on the front page. And you can see on the online page, quickly something is already wrong, right? A nice picture though, by the way. I don't know who the handsome man is, but they refuse to acknowledge my name. I've been called Willie Soon since 2003 when I got my US citizenship, US passport, right? They insist that this is some kind of foreigners who can't speak English. Excuse me, yeah, I do. I cannot speak too much English, but anyway, they try to paint me like that, right? And then they accuse me for being so corrupted that I took money from all this oil company and then to benefit myself and then hide it in secret in a Swiss bank account, by the way. I have been accused of that. Except for Reverend Al Sharpton, never been accused of that. But actually, I want to put a funny point. Another guy that's been on the front page lately of New York Times is this guy, Tucker Carlson. Everybody know him, right? TV personality. I have never seen a guy so happy to be on the front page. Probably I should do that kind of gesture. It's pretty weird, you know? And they call him American nationalist. Oh, we are so proud. We love America, excuse me. I mean, I never see a guy laughing that big. They are targeting him. Just to give you a parallel that you should be very proud if you're on the front page. I'm not so proud. This is silly stuff that they're playing. Because I don't like games too much, okay? So, you can see, the first way in which that New York Times is powerful is in this sense. They are actually supposed to be a paper of record, right? That is actually true maybe way back in the past. But this day, man, everything but politics, right? Everything is all politics. And then when they don't like you, this is the way they're going to put me down. They actually thought that I may be dead by now, shouldn't be talking right away, right? They really want to do that. And then you have things like this. Leading climate denier and Harvard scientists took 1.2 bribes is the word now, right? You see, New York Times say, I didn't say it, but that's the way they want it. They want it that way. They want the meme to spread. All the untruth and lie. Now, from now on, actually, no matter how much I say, it doesn't matter. But I hope this thing is recorded. So every time anybody say Willie Soon shouldn't be heard, you guys please point to this video from the camp. Let them see it. Because they see nothing but bad truth. I won't show them my tattoo, of course, but here we're going to start with this Reverend Al Sharpton criticism. Even Reverend Al Sharpton has an opinion on Willie Soon. Can you believe that? I was not working for James Brown or nobody, right? But he has to get on my nerve.
When it comes to denying the human impact of global warming, Republicans have it down to a science.
If climate change is a problem, and do you believe it is or not? Do you believe
I'm not a scientist.
I don't know the science behind climate change.
Well, listen, I'm not qualified to debate the science over climate change.
I'm
not a scientist. It's their favorite line. And when they do actually talk about scientists, they usually point to people like Dr. Willie Soon. He's the darling of the right-wing climate denier caucus. He says greenhouse gases just aren't that bad for you.
Reverend, you're breathing that out yourself.
Repeatedly cited his work over the years. The same Senator Inhofe who once said this about climate change.
And the fact that all this is happening to the man-made gases, I really believe is the greatest hoax ever perpetrated in the American people.
The greatest hoax ever perpetrated. And to back him up, he pointed to people like Dr. Soon.
These are scientists that cannot be challenged.
I'm not too sure about that, Senator, because the New York Times reports Dr. Soon has accepted $1.2 million in funding from the fossil fuel industry, which he hasn't disclosed in most of his scientific papers. Interesting. A guy pushing back on climate change debate while getting paid by oil and gas companies. Well, I'm not a scientist, but I can sure spot a potential conflict of interest when I see one. So nice guy, but don't even try to deny this one, because we got you.
Anyway, nothing but the truth. Did I take the $1.2 million bribe? I mean, the simple answer is no, obviously. So the fact is that from 1991, I was very, very lucky and privileged to be solicited by this Harvard Center for Astrophysics to come and work there as a postdoctoral fellow. And my funding sources over this period, it's all come from all kinds of funding, from government, not government, taxpayer, myself paying for myself, corporate groups, and so on and so forth. So over this 15 years period, it's $1.2 million. That's the context that is missing. And then remember, when I get this kind of grant from the outside funding, 40% are kept by the Harvard group, the Smithsonian group, right? So I got only 60% of it. Please do a little math. You don't even need calculator to do this sort of thing. It's about $40,000 to $75,000 a year before tax. How is that a bribe, right? If you take some year it's like 40,000, I mean that's McDonald's level kind of a thing. There is a meme out there saying that I'm working at McDonald's actually. But you don't have to take my word. What is $1.2 million? Because from the other side, they are very well funded. And then the way they try to make that 1.2 million is nothing is that, they make themselves look really good. So watch this person who claimed to be some kind of Christian. And she is one of the big troublemaker in my humble opinion. Dr. Catherine Hayhoe from Texas.
I get messages like this on a regular basis. And when I point out that an earth scientist with a Ph.D. like me would get a lot more money working for an oil company than a university, it's met with blank stares. Why is it that some people are so convinced that all climate scientists are funneling millions of dollars of government money into their Swiss bank accounts?
Which is true.
Executives aren't shoveling billions into their accounts in the Cayman Islands. Part of it might be because grants always seem to involve such enormous sums that we often feel like they're just being handed over to scientists on a silver plate to do something mysterious in their labs that would make any taxpayer scream. I'm a scientist, and I do get government grants. So let me pull aside the curtain and show you exactly what happens to that money. The biggest grant I ever got was for the staggering amount of $1.1 million to develop new ways to understand climate change at local to regional scales. 1.1 million seems stunning, that is, until you realize how far it really goes. I wrote that grant together with 4 other researchers from different universities. So the National Science Foundation divided the money out about evenly amongst us, giving each of us around $220,000. That's still a decent amount of money. The grant was for a 4-year period, which meant I had about $55,000 to spend each year. Still nice, right? Then, my university took about 50% of what I asked for. That's 1/3 of the total amount, to cover what's called facilities and administration costs. Now, don't go thinking that got me a luxurious office. My office has no window. It barely has room to swing a cat, as they say, not that I would ever do that. And I bought my own furniture and computer. But the university does pay for internet, electricity, and an infernal amount of paperwork. That leaves about $37,000 for me to spend each year. With that money, I paid a graduate student a princely salary of about $25,000. I paid about $10,000 more to the university to cover their tuition, and I ended up with about $2,000 left over each year. First year, I bought my student a computer. Year 2, I paid for them to go to a scientific conference. And in years 3 and 4, I paid for us to publish a scientific paper each year. Because yes, those cost about $2,000 as well. Boom. That's how a scientist spends $1.1 million.
Okay, you see, right? You see how they so good at doing the math for themselves, but when it comes to Willie Soon, he has to go. Anyway, all these things are really bad. I did receive funding from, not me, my workplace, which is the Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. I wrote the proposal, and then we sent it to Southern Company and Charles Koch Charitable Foundation. And this is the weird criticism. Southern Company is an electric utility company. They generate electricity from nuclear sources, coal, gas, wind and solar, everything. If you want to call these people fossil fuel industry, you should really call them renewable industry. And Charles Koch, it is a philanthropic organization. It produced all kinds of stuff, including actually the famous product that probably some of us use, which is the quilted Norton tissue. I mean, those are the things to wipe your behind, obviously. And Dixie carp and things like that, right? If you want to call them fossil fuel industry, and they also produce nylon and things like that, right? So you should call them fashion industry, or even pollution control industry. This is how they play this game, right? They have to say you're dirty money and so on and so forth. But you know what? This whole area of climate science is about follow the narrative. You do not deviate. If you deviate, you pay, right? And if you want to get funding, you see what is narrative. You got to promote climate change narrative.
If I wanted to do research on, shall we say, the squirrels of Sussex, what I would do, and this is any time from 1990 onwards, I would write my grant application saying, I want to investigate the nut gathering behaviour of squirrels with special reference to the effects of global warming.
Please.
I'll get my money. If I forget to mention global warming, I might not get the money.
That's the truth. So what did I do instead, right? So from 91 until early 2000, I actually have a lot of grants from NASA, NSF, Air Force, so on and so forth, right? But I realized ultimately that because I have a very special mentor by the name of Art Robinson from Oregon, so I've decided not to apply to this taxpayer-funded kind of research anymore because no one is held accountable for anything. So I decided I'm not going to go that path. So I'm going to look for private foundation. Whoever wants to give me money based on my proposal, fine, I'll take it, yes? I still need to support these two boys, their candies, habit, and so on and so forth. Anyway, I did wrestle very hard in this because it's about temptation, isn't it, right? Convenient, right? But I don't blame anything. I enjoy science. That's the secret. So, instead of going for all this tenure for professorship, I just follow the science and really doing the science. I don't like to have global warming and nut gathering of squirrel research. I don't want to do things like that. So I kept my soul. So I look for funding that don't ask me to push any narrative. Science is like an open tools for you to understand nature, understand God's mind in some sense, to see deeper into the soul, right? The human soul. So yes, but keeping a soul is not a good get-rich scheme, isn't it, right? It was very, very hard actually. So you can see the number is very small. So I can tell you, yeah, I get to keep my soul. I feel very, very happy. They ain't gonna push me out of science no matter what. Anyway, this is what they're trying to do. They paint me in that way, and they think that Willie Soon is so easily corruptible. That's just nonsense. So that 1.2 million stuff, go away. It's bad. And then they say that I did not disclose my interest. You know, secret bank account. No such thing. So what did I do? All my funding come from Harvard Center, Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, the Office of Grant and Contracts, with the direct supervision by the director's office. Think about this, right? I get regular paycheck every 2 weeks, and all my papers, scientific papers, how do I cheat? I say Harvard Smithsonian, you go, any problem? Don't look for Willie Soon, look for them. Because they took 40% too. And the director himself, by the way. You will find out what the director did to my grant in a minute. By the way, I never say those things before, so I'm going to tell it for the first time because it's nothing but the whole truth. I knew this all along, by the way, but they don't want to spill inconvenient truth like this. But then something very strange in this area. There are people, okay, this group, we call them RICO 20 because there are 20 scientists. They are trying to flip the whole thing around. You all heard about Saul Alinsky, right? Yeah. The rule of engagement. They flip the whole thing around. They're trying to put all of us in jail. Myself, Willie Soon, and a bunch of my colleagues. And these are the people who got funding regularly. One of the leaders here is by the name of Jagdish Shukla from George Mason University. So 20 of them signing this. They sent a letter to Obama. They say that you should use this racketeering law to try to put guys like Willie Soon because they are colluding with the oil industry and all this other stuff to try to say that global warming is not caused by CO2, so we benefit from it like I have my rich account. But look at this guy. Unbelievable the way they do this. By the way, that's his picture. I don't mind showing him, Professor Shukla. Please come and refute. If you are innocent, you have a forum here to speak for yourself. The kind of money they receive is actually terrible. Beside getting an annual salary of $250,000 from George Mason University, Professor Shukla received extra $333,000 for salary and benefit from his NSF, National Science Foundation grant. Even his wife got $166,000 per year for compensation for, with this group. He got a huge amount of money, $25 million here, this and that, and all. These are the people who want to put a guy like me, $1.2 million over 15 years in jail. And then they don't want to talk about the science. That's the pain of it. We've been trying to debate them for, I don't know, as long as I can remember. I've been here 32 years. They never want to debate this openly. They are scared of people like you, by the way. Why not put a chair here? We talk about it, right? They don't do that. Because they are too important, these people. Anyway, so the third point is that the Smithsonian does not support Willie Soon's conclusion. Okay, Smithsonian is pretty much corrupted this day, obviously, but they still apply the paperwork. So in February 26th of 2015, so about 3-4 days later, they had to issue a statement saying that they don't support Willie Soon, conclusion on climate change, but they are trying to put me under some kind of investigation, police investigation. I did. I went through that whole pain, of course. I'm not crying, nothing. Just go ahead and investigate. What did I do wrong? So here's what they did. They found there were no wrongdoing. Actually, did it over like so many years they were doing this. Interview me in front of my lawyer, my pro bono lawyer. By the way, I have no way I can pay this lawyer. Those guys say, don't pay us because you cannot afford it. Anyway, so they quietly remove. By the way, I'm if I would have done anything remotely wrong, I would actually put myself in jail. You don't have to actually investigate me. Anyway, so they removed this thing in March 4th of 2020, the whole thing. Actually, my lawyer asked them, can you just issue a statement? They won't. They make mistake, they won't resolve you. But actually, who did this hatchet job on Willie Soon, right? It turns out that it comes from a group from Greenpeace. You all heard of Greenpeace, right? Okay, this is the guy, Kurt Davis. He's trying to hide under another organization. These people are very good in hiding money, actually. So this is the guy, Kurt Davis. Kurt Davis, if you're hearing this, please, come and explain yourself. So he did all kinds of things. He started this thing called Climate Investigation Center. He's the architect of Greenpeace website project called Exxon Secret, because the team now is to sue the Exxon company, to say that they know that global warming is going to kill all the people and all that, so they have to pay back, right? No, I'm not a friend of ExxonMobil. I pay ExxonMobil to put gasoline in my car, okay? That's the problem. And they started a thing called Polluter Watch because they are not only unsatisfied with people like ExxonMobil, they are not happy with the Coke industry, the Coke Foundation and Charles Coke. So they sent an FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, to my workplace, trying to look for Willie Soon's new emails, all my emails, because to check that I'm colluding with people, right? And then they sent to all kinds of things, claiming that I have a relationship with Senator John McCain and all those people. I have no idea who those people are. I don't even work interested in any of them. By the way, all that appeared in Climate Gate. You all heard about Climate Gate in 2009, where a bunch of email from the other side was released, where it shows that those guys were actually colluding. Again, it's another Alinsky move. I want to mention this fact-checking because I want to show you how early they've been fact-checking us. Since 2009. Because in the next talk, we're going to talk about Alex Newman was being fact-checked by those guys, because Alex Newman wrote a very journalistic piece on my scientific research that showed that they are wrong. And then when trying to engage them, they use a fact-check and say, nobody should read Alex Newman because he's been fact-checked to be wrong. This is called narrative checking, right? This is another tools that they've been creating for a long time, okay? So, Climate Gate, let me quickly go over this. It's not that important, but those guys are pretty serious. So, who is this Kurt Davis? How will he get his funding? By the way, people are beginning to find out that he fakely tell people that he's 501c3. So every time he do a FOIA, he say that, can you waive the fee for copying, for doing all the paperwork? So, he been doing under that pretext. But one important thing is that Kurt Davis, when he attacked me, he actually attacked me a long time ago, like since 2001. But he's aware that my center director is actually trying to misdirect my funding of the order of, I don't know, like how much money was that? Oh, $30,000, $22,000. trying to direct the money that I was not able to use yet to their director office to support the secretary. He's fully aware of it. But he never tells this story, okay? And he really knows, in terms of all these other people like Koch Foundation, he also knows that it was not Willie Soon who signed the contract. It was always the Smithsonian. And then with the Southern Company, it's the same story, okay? So he knows that I'm innocent. And then he want to attack me. He said that, how can I declare that I have no conflict of interest when he doesn't know he's an anonymous donor, right? He's trying to flip everything around, that I have to prove that I'm innocent. No, it doesn't work that way in American law also. Anyway, we want to find out what did Kurt Davis, where he got his money from. Because I need to compare and contrast about the amount of money these people are getting. Greenpeace, we found out actually, our research, we published a report on this, on Greenpeace, how much money they got. You can see the number is on the order of $500 million or, $350 million. And we wrote this report with one of the co-founder of Greenpeace by the name of Patrick Moore, which I'll show you. Patrick Moore is well known, as you can see. President Trump even tweeted about him long ago, that saying that, Patrick Moore, by the way, get on your nerve, obviously. He's the founder of Greenpeace and he doesn't believe in climate change and all that stuff. So, of course, they start attacking him. One of the things they did to him in Google is obviously, if you look in February 2019, Patrick Moore is considered one of the Greenpeace founders. By March, 1 month later, after President Trump tweeted on this, he disappeared, gone fishing. That's how they do to you, okay? They erase the memory. This is a famous picture of our original Greenpeace. Look, Patrick Moore is nowhere near, but he's right there, okay? Patrick Moore is a personal friend of mine, and we wrote this report together, right? That's why they got doubly angry when you know all the people you work together to produce the best honest report. They don't want to dispute the fact because they have no other thing. We tell the truth. If they are right, I'll put it back. I say I'm wrong. Here's the kind of money they're talking about. From 1994 to 2015, look at the money they got. We are talking, the column there is actually a lot of money, 350, 300, we're talking about $277 million. Greenpeace is so rich that they're so smart. 2/3 of their money is in cash. These people are really powerful, serious money organization. So you don't get on their nerve, but I don't really care, Greenpeace. So Greenpeace his business model is like this. Invent an environmental problem, invent a simple solution, pick a villain, that will be Willie Soon, ExxonMobil, Charles Koch Foundation, and then when it comes down to solution, dismiss any solution. For example, all the problem about carbon dioxide, if you truly even worry, you should not, by the way. All you need is talk about nuclear energy, nuclear power. Oh no, they don't want that. Oh, that is bad, that's dangerous, it's going to have all kinds of things. We have so many good technology, good generation of nuclear power generation technology that France is using and all those things. They don't want it here. They say, because of their own mindset that they're causing the problem. So Greenpeace has been on this business for a long time. Think about the number of money that they have. It's all campaign. It's all media campaign, by the way. Look at how much money they spend on climate change issue. $521 million. So this is what they do. They try to target me. By 2004, they've been going after ExxonMobil for a very, very long time, okay? And then it doesn't matter what it is, but I want to tell you one of the secret things that you want to find out, that how much Greenpeace claim that ExxonMobil has been funding people like me, right? Look at the amount of money now we're talking about. Look at the column now. Now it's from 1 million to about 3 million. Not me, of course, not all. It's just a whole bunch of group, okay? So Greenpeace has counted the statistics of how much ExxonMobil has covered people that is not agreeing with the narrative. From 17 years, it's only $31 million. If you average that out, it's only $1.8 million a year. That's how little. Almost 30 different groups got this kind of money, but very small amount. So compare that $1.8 million from ExxonMobil versus the amount that is spent by Greenpeace. I think this one is just climate change, just for the media kind of stuff. It's $34 million a year. If you really worry about the influence of ExxonMobil at that level, I think you should really worry about $34 million, what $34 million can use. These are all, by the way, very simple facts that they do not want you to know. Every time when they say ExxonMobil is so corrupted, this is the number you should get, because we got the statistic from Greenpeace and myself, okay? What are they talking about? You either disown this thing or you tell me that I'm wrong. ExxonMobil average annual revenue is $337 billion a year. So to spend $1.8 million, look at how many digits, 0.0005%. I don't think you can consider that a major spending, okay? But the problem in this world is that it's not only Greenpeace, it's not only ExxonMobil, okay? The NGO, so-called the non-governmental organization, look at the amount of money they have. In 2018, this professor from Northeastern by the name of Matt Disbert has counted how much money they got. From 2011, only 4 or 5 years. The total of 19 major groups, they got $557 million. This is very serious money that they have. So now they claim that I'm a climate change denier, right? That I dispute scientific understanding of climate change. We will talk about science, like I say, on Thursday. But very quickly, if you look at the Wikipedia, if you try to change anything that they say that's wrong about Willie Soon, like they call myself Willie Soon as a climate change denier, one guy by the name of Thomas Paine, 1776, so we know that this is American patriot like us, isn't it? He changed the thing, changed back that Willie Soon is just a skeptic. He's not a skepticism is very good in science, by the way. And then 1 hour, 29 minutes later, this guy by the name of William Connolly changed it back. Insists that, because they are in charge of Wikipedia, by the way, it's a very corrupted place. So they tried to change that Willie Soon is a leading scientist, right, who reject man-made climate change. He said that I'm a climate change denier. You know what that purpose is for, right? To say that I love Holocaust. You know, Holocaust is one of the truism, for them. It's ridiculous. Now I want to get quickly about how climate science is not about. The first thing you always have to remember about science is that science is never about consensus. It's not about how many people agree, that agree some facts to be this and that. Even if I ask you, what is the color of this thing? Even if 100%, 99 or 100% of you say that this is black, it ain't gonna make it white. It's gonna make it true, okay? Because it's still white, isn't it? This is how they're gonna do. President Obama, a sitting president, put out something like this, that 97% agree, and I'll point to you the scientific study of this paper, why it's so flawed. Now let's watch this. What 97% mean?
If there has to be a debate about the reality of climate change, and there doesn't, then there is only one pretty fair way to do it. In the interest of mathematical balance, I'm going to bring out 2 people who agree with you, climate skeptic, and Bill and I are also going to bring out 96 other scientists. Dr. Willie Soon of the Heartland Institute for Astrophysics, the Washington Post called him the high priest of climate change deniers. He's taking his climate change skepticism to Fox News as well as to the state of Kansas, where for lawmakers the climate is not changing in a dangerous way. He's been praised for what is the U.S. Senate's most famous climate change denier, Oklahoma Republican James Inhofe. While the New York Times reported this weekend, quote, will often describe
Very powerful, New York Times.
as a Harvard astrophysicist. Dr. Soon is not an astrophysicist and has never been employed by Harvard. Dr. Soon is apparently a part-time employee of the Smithsonian, which shortly runs the Center for Astrophysics along with Harvard. And according to the Times, he has to bring his own funding. And the folks at Greenpeace have a bright idea, submitting Freedom of Information Act requests for Dr. Soon's grant correspondence, and he'll be shocked to learn where he's getting free money. Quote, New York Times again, he has accepted more than $1.2 million in money from the fossil fuel industry over the last decade, while failing to disclose that conflict of interest in most of his scientific papers. Dr. Soon has in the past denied that funding from the fossil fuel industry affects his findings, result in taking seriously standing as he is against 97% of the scientific community. And now, there are 1.2 million more reasons that is working.
Look at that, right? There are a lot of videos like that. In fact, I just found this out while preparing for these things, right? I didn't bother. It's just so many nonsense like this. You really think that this is being famous? What is this nonsense, you know? Give me a break, right? Can we ask questions later, please? I'm almost there. Okay. Oh, maybe ask one. Go.
All right, I was just going to say, you are really threatening them to have this much of an attack. They are really threatening about you.
I think so. It's about my good look, isn't it? Well, one of the things I want the student to learn is this. So they say 97%, correct? Now let's examine that. It come from this paper by a guy named John Cook, also a proclaimed Christian, by the way. I'm very irritated. I don't know why, but I don't like them to misrepresent this kingdom of God. They're just very bad people in some sense. Again, I like him to come. Maybe as a Christian, he will come and discuss this. Okay? This guy by the name of John Cook, he published a paper. This is what science is becoming prostitution, really. It's very bad. They published a paper that looked like a scientific thing, quantifying the consensus on anthropogenic global warming in the scientific literature. But, Professor, it's a sitting president of the United States. Doesn't even have the helper to read the abstract. The abstract already tell you all the answer you need. Among abstract, expressing a position, that's the key word, expressing a position, on this AGW, which is anthropogenic global warming, 97.1% endorse the consensus position that humans are causing global warming. You guys want to know how many papers that don't acknowledge a position on this issue? Let's look at the data. The reason why I pull this out is that because we have to publish a paper, including with our famous co-author, of course, is Christopher Monckton of Branchley. He spoke here several years, yes? So we wrote this paper. By the way, this one bugs them like mad. They really don't like that we can write scientific paper back. That's what you do in science. You make a claim, we check you. We make a claim, if we are wrong, you check me. Please, do that. That's the way that we achieve this universal truth. Nothing but the truth. So we wrote this paper. Here's what we found. We found that they were very misleading, first of all. 2/3 of the abstract offered no opinion. And then among the results, only 64 of the 12,000 abstract, which is 0.5%, say that is climate change was closely caused by human. Remember, only 64 paper out of 12,000 in their paper we can find. Then Christopher Monckton make one step further. You know, in science, you don't even take their word for it. Is it really 64? 64 paper is easy enough, right? Each one of you, I'll assign you one paper, you look and study and report back to me. Did they say that? So we did that. Monckton is the one that pushed this. That's how clever he is. So we look at 64. Actually, I don't even bother. It's a game. We found only 41% actually say that. So it's only 0.3%. I'm very sorry for them. This is the fact. President Obama ought to be able to read this thing, isn't it? But why are they doing things like this, right? It's so silly. I mean, it's a sitting president. I'm not trying to disrespect this guy, but these people have no respect for the office, no honor. That's the problem. And you put out junk like this. And then, actually, it's about the misleading, and then using science, and then hoping that nobody go read that paper. Why would that be? It's a situation that is really went out of control. That's what you need to realize. And please, they teach all this in school. That's the problem. Even. You look, only 987 abstract explicitly claim there is global warming and things like that. Huge portion of it don't have the claim. Then when you go into the detail, as you can see, they claim 64 abstract, right? But if you look carefully, that's how you get 97%, by the way. 91 plus 6. The one that at least some, you look carefully, it just, all these are all made up numbers. Again, remember, I told you, even 100 of you say this, black. I'm very sorry, it doesn't make it black, okay? Science doesn't work like that, right? This is the problem. So I'm almost near the end. I want to tell you now a beautiful quote from this guy by the name of Michael Crichton. He probably not a very strong Christian, but I was very proud to correspond with him, and we are the one that encouraged him to testify in the United States Senate. And he made this beautiful statement. By the way, he's a very smart guy. He has a Harvard Ph.D., MD, postdoc. MD and Ph.D. from Harvard Medical School, and then a postdoc in Cambridge University. And he made this statement. I would remind you to notice where the claim of consensus is involved in science. Consensus is involved only in situations when the science is not solid enough Nobody says that the consensus of scientists agree that E equal to mc squared. Nobody says that the consensus is that the sun is 93 million miles away. It would never occur to anyone to speak that way. Okay? Very deep insight, this guy. I can tell you, 97% of the scientists agree whoever funding them, okay? That is one of the good 97% consensus. I'm nearing the end now. I want to put you the one last symbol. These people we are dealing with a serious cult phenomenon. So stay tuned for the next talk where I'll speak about science. Why climate change is not really caused by CO2, right? I provide the evidence and explain in a bit details. Too bad, this thing will take 3 weeks or 10 weeks courses. If anybody is interested, someday we'll do some of that kind of thing, and hopefully some of you will watch it. We'll put it on the video. Everybody can watch it for free. Tell everybody, because this thing is out of control. It's not about science, right?
Right.
Why would they attack a guy like this? Who just don't, I don't know. I told you it's my good look that caused the problem. I really gotta do something. Okay, thank you. If you have any question, please ask questions.